smoothie bowl because I'm starving. 2 cups of frozen cherries, 2 cups of frozen strawberries, and lastly 2 cups of frozen mangoes. Oh my god.
Nothing against the sweet girl in the video, she probably doesn't know, but this healthy smoothie bowl has about 80 grams of sugar, 3 times the recommended amount for a whole day in only one meal. Smoothies are everywhere, especially in summer months. They are a great, nutritious, refreshing meal. Unfortunately, I see a lot of content creators, even really big ones, share smoothies that are quite frankly unhealthy, even potentially harmful, or make you gain weight. Don't worry, I've got you. By avoiding these upcoming smoothie mistakes, you can make sure that you create smoothies that are super tasty, fuel your body, make you feel energized, and make you lose extra weight if this is what you want. So let's dive right in. The first mistake I have certainly done, using too much fruit in your smoothie.
All you need to do in the morning is roll out of bed, pour these into your blender with a little bit of yogurt and some juice, and you're off to the races.
While fruits are generally super healthy and nutritious, you may actually use too much fruit in your smoothies. That means you have too much of a sugar intake in your smoothie. So for example, instead of eating 1 banana or eating 1 apple, you might put 2 apples in a smoothie and 2 bananas in a smoothie. So the sugar content is going to be so much higher than if you just ate the fruit itself. This can be an actual health concern for people who have maybe diabetes or pre-diabetes, or just people who really want to watch their sugar intake and balance their blood sugar levels because they want to have hormonal health, blood sugar health. So that's why it's important that you don't just focus on fruits in your smoothies. If you blend fruit and you create smoothies or fruit juices, for example, the natural sugars in the fruit are released from the cell walls of the fruit and become free sugar. So that is basically like added sugar. That means it will rise your blood sugar a lot quicker than when the sugar is protected within the cell walls and the fiber of the fruit. The next mistake is, and we're staying within the sugar context, people just add too much sugar to their smoothies. They add maple syrup, coconut sugar, agave syrup, all these like healthy sugars. I put this in quote unquote because all these sugars are not actually healthy. The problem is that these sugars are still sugars. Your body does not know the difference between a normal table sugar and maple syrup, and it gets metabolized as normal sugar in your body. And people say, oh, but they have more nutrients. Honestly, the amount of nutrients they have compared to table sugar is so insignificant. Just eat like a couple blueberries and you will have way more nutrient content than maple syrup compared to table sugar. I'm not saying don't use the sugars because they also create a certain flavor, but I just don't want you to think, oh, I'm going to be healthy if I have coconut sugar. It's still sugar. So what you can do instead is to use low sugar fruits in your smoothies. This would be berries, for example. What happens is if you have these like sweet smoothies and you think, oh, I'm going to be so healthy, is actually that it will harm your cells in the long term because it spikes your blood sugar. You're going to feel tired and fatigued. You're not going to have energy. You're going to have cravings for more sweet things. You're not going to feel satisfied. You want to snack something. You have mood swings, because we really want to start to regulate and balance our blood sugars. Blood sugars have a huge effect on your whole body, on your aging, on your gut health, on your hormonal health. If you have problems with hormone health, then please start to balance your blood sugar. Okay, the next mistake I have totally done, and I see it in so many videos, especially when it comes to like smoothie bowls, is that it's way too high calorie. If you want to lose weight maybe, or you want to maintain your weight and then you feel like, oh, I'm actually putting on weight, well, look at maybe your smoothies and your smoothie bowl, because some of the smoothie bowls pack like 800 calories. They can actually become unhealthy if they pack too many calories, and that can happen by adding too much nut butter, by adding too much avocado, by adding really a lot of these like high calorific foods like seeds, nuts, coconut flakes. The smoothie bowls look really beautiful, but all of that adds so many calories. The next mistake I see is that you're actually destroying the vitamins in your smoothies or in your smoothie bowls. You're using fresh produce, you're using fresh fruit, fresh herbs, whatever, but you don't use ice cubes with your blending. So what happens is, because of the heat of the blender, that will actually destroy the vitamins, because vitamins are very sensitive to heat and light. So you really want to make sure that you add some ice cubes with the fruit and the vegetables that you're using, especially if it's fresh produce. If you use frozen produce, like frozen veggies and frozen fruit, which I would recommend anyway because it creates a really nice texture, you don't really have to use ice cubes. I would maybe still add a couple, but then it's not that necessary. But also like try to mix fresh and frozen fruit and veggies so you can make sure that those vitamins stay intact. A quick tip is I actually like to buy veggies and then freeze them. So I will cut them, for example, some zucchini, super easy to cut, and then just freeze and then just use whenever you need them. Another mistake that I see a lot is a lack of healthy fat and protein. A well-balanced smoothie should contain sources of protein and healthy fat to provide sustained energy and promote satiety. Another reason is why you need fat in your smoothies is because of vitamin A, for example, which is a soluble vitamin, which means certain vitamins in the vegetables and the fruits need fat in order to be actually properly absorbed by the body. And fat-soluble vitamins, like vitamin A, for example, can only be absorbed if there is a fat source. That's why we also add olive oil, for example, to salad, because otherwise our body's not really able to get all the nutrients, all the vitamins from the salad. But of course, even though we want to add healthy fats, we still want to be mindful of portion control. A little bit of fat goes a long way. The next mistake that I see is consistency, and I get that consistency is a very personal thing, but hear me out why you should aim for a thick smoothie consistency, which is why I'm a big fan of smoothie bowls, because they are quite thick and you actually sit down and have your smoothie as a meal. A thick smoothie is just way more substantial, and that's important because you want to have that satiety factor. You actually want to make sure you're feeling satisfied and full after a meal and not run around mindlessly drink your smoothie and then actually not really feel satisfied and then feel hungry and peckish afterwards. The more watery and thin your smoothie is, the quicker it gets actually absorbed and the quicker you're feeling hunger again. If your smoothie is too thin, it might not actually stretch your stomach and reach those stretch receptors that signalize to calm down ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone, right? That's really important. That's why we want to always feel like we're having a satisfying meal so that we actually feel satisfied and not feel hungry again. Next thing is you're lacking fiber in your smoothie. Fiber is really important for our gut microbiome. It's important for digestion, regulating your blood sugar levels, and promoting satiety. Smoothies that lack sources of fiber, such as leafy greens, for example, seeds, and even whole grains, you can actually add oats to your smoothie to make it more substantial. The next thing is a lack of variety in your smoothie, especially when it comes to gut health and overall health, is diversity in your diet. So we want to have a diverse variety of fruit, veggies, nuts, seeds, herbs, spices. Just make your smoothies a little bit interesting. Add some ginger, add some parsley. This is now your opportunity to be creative. The next thing is that I see a lot of people do, and they're really not aware of it, is that they don't consume the smoothies quickly enough. So the nutrient content is really down to zero by the time they drink the smoothie, because they just take it to school, they take it to work, and it just stands around for hours and they don't actually drink it. The longer you let your smoothie sit, the more nutrients it will lose. So just make sure you consume your smoothie like right after you made it, or as soon as possible after you made it. And then the last mistake that I see, and that has also something to do if you have your smoothie to go, for example, you want to pack your smoothie for like going away, have it in a dark container. As I mentioned earlier, vitamins are really sensitive to light and heat. When you have your smoothie out in like a glass container and you just like run around with it, the nutrients and the vitamins will actually decrease. So it's really important that you cover your smoothie with foil or something, or have a dark container. That's why I'm not really a fan of the smoothies in the supermarket, because first of all, there's loads of sugar in them, but second of all, they just stand in the supermarket, I don't know, for maybe weeks on the shelves. The vitamin content in those is literally zero. Incorporating a mix of fresh and frozen ingredients, fruit and veggies, adequate protein, healthy fats, and of course fiber will ensure that you will have a well-rounded, thick and healthy smoothie that will support your energy and well-being.